Have you ever stopped to wonder, why do humans, the so-called pinnacle of creation, have to endure pain, loss, and death? Why has the world, once described by our ancestors as paradise, become rife with injustice, suffering, and destruction? These questions are not merely matters of philosophy or religion. They are mysteries tied to the very core of human history. And to uncover the answers, we must return to where it all began, to the moment when the first lie was spoken, opening the door to the greatest tragedy in human history. Imagine a magnificent garden, Eden, a place where nature, animals, and humanity coexisted in perfect harmony. Here, everything reflected the Creator's perfection: radiant light, lush greenery, and crystal-clear streams winding like the brushstrokes of a master artist. Humanity, at the pinnacle of creation, was given the priceless gifts of freedom and trust. But in that moment of serenity, a dark force crept in, shaking the foundations of this paradise. The serpent, a cunning creature, appeared not merely as an ordinary animal, but as a symbol of deception, betrayal, and dark schemes. With just a gentle whisper, it planted doubt in the human heart. A tiny seed, yet powerful enough to sever the sacred bond between humanity and the Creator. That moment, that lie, did not just alter the fate of Adam and Eve, but set in motion a chain of tragedies that would span every generation, from the loss of paradise to the unending struggle between sin and redemption. This is not merely the story of humanity in the Garden of Eden. It is the story of all of us, a narrative woven throughout human history, where light and darkness constantly intertwine, and truth remains hidden beneath layers of deceit. So what truly happened in the Garden of Eden? And how could one small lie change the fate of the entire world? Join Historical Owl on a journey to uncover this mystery, where past and present converge to find the answers humanity has sought for millennia. When the first light touched the earth, dispelling the primordial darkness and igniting the spark of life, the Creator performed a miraculous act that laid the foundation for all of human history. He bent down, took dust from the ground, a humble, simple material, and shaped it with his powerful hands. Yet the miracle did not stop at a perfect form. The Creator breathed into it the breath of life, and in that instant, Adam was born. Adam was not merely a living being. He carried within him vitality, intelligence, and free will, precious gifts bestowed only upon humanity. His eyes opened for the first time, and before him was a wondrous world. The vast blue sky, refreshing streams, and an array of vibrant creatures. Made in the image of God, Adam was not just a symbol of creation, but a bridge between the Creator and the material world. But the wonder did not end there. The Creator, with his profound understanding, knew that Adam could not live in perpetual solitude. He recognized that the meaning of life lies in connection and companionship. And so, another miracle was performed. The Creator put Adam into a deep sleep, a state of peace where he was unaware of what was happening. From one of Adam's ribs, God fashioned Eve, his perfect companion. Imagine the moment Adam awoke and saw Eve for the first time. He did not merely see a woman, but a part of himself, a counterpart both symmetrical and wonderfully distinct. Their bond extended far beyond the physical. It was a deep spiritual connection, symbolizing the perfect harmony between two halves of a whole. Adam called her bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh, and from that moment they became the first partners in the history of humanity. The two were placed in the Garden of Eden, a radiant paradise beyond the power of words to fully describe. The garden was bursting with color, endless fields of blooming flowers, fruit-laden trees, and pristine streams babbling under the golden sunlight. Birds sang melodious tunes in the gentle breeze, animals roamed freely, and everything reflected the harmony of creation. This was not just a home for Adam and Eve, but a sacred place where they were entrusted with a profound responsibility: to govern all creatures, name the living beings, and tend to the garden as a divine gift from God. Yet even in this perfection, a boundary was set. God granted them everything in the garden with one condition. They were not to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. This tree stood majestically at the heart of the garden, with lush green leaves and ripe, glistening fruit, serving as a silent reminder of God's power and their loyalty. It was not merely a rule but a test, a symbol of obedience and absolute trust in the Creator. In this flawless paradise, Adam and Eve spent their first days in perfect peace, free from suffering or worry. The Garden of Eden was unlike any place on earth. It was not merely a habitat, it was the embodiment of absolute unity between nature and the divine. Crystal clear streams flowed gently, creating soft melodies as the water danced over smooth stones. The cool, pure water seemed to touch the soul, bringing a sense of serenity and renewal. Along the banks, flowers of every color bloomed, releasing a sweet fragrance that enchanted the air. The atmosphere was so pure that every breath felt invigorating and full of life. Eden's scenery was not only beautiful but vibrant and harmonious. Animals of all kinds lived in absolute peace. Mighty lions strolled calmly past grazing sheep, with no conflict or danger in sight. Tiny birds fluttered among the branches, singing cheerful songs that blended with the babbling streams and rustling leaves. Every sound and every movement seemed part of a grand symphony of perfection. In this idyllic setting, Adam and Eve lived a life we can only dream of. Adam, the first to be formed from God's breath, embodied strength and superior intellect. Eve, created from Adam's rib, radiated grace and refinement. Together, they were not only life partners, but companions on a journey to explore the wonders of Eden. Each day, Adam and Eve conversed with the Creator, feeling His close and loving presence. These conversations were more than mere exchanges. They were moments of teaching, where the Creator imparted wisdom, trust, and reverence for all He had made. In the gentle sunlight, they listened to His guidance, learning how to understand and care for every creature in the garden. Adam took on the task of naming the creatures. Imagine him standing in a meadow, gazing into the eyes of a powerful horse and declaring, "You shall be called a horse." Each name carried meaning, symbolizing a deep bond between humanity and nature. Eve, with her meticulous care and delicate touch, tended to the trees, ensuring every leaf remained green and every fruit ripened sweetly. Amidst all this perfection, however, lay a challenge. At the center of the garden stood the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, an enigmatic symbol. Its towering trunk stretched skyward, its dark green canopy casting shade over a corner of the garden, and its ripe fruit glistened temptingly in the sunlight, radiating an irresistible allure. Yet this tree represented the sole boundary God had set for Adam and Eve. God's command echoed as a gentle yet serious reminder. "You may eat from every tree in the garden, except the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for on the day you eat it, you will surely die." This tree was not just a symbol, but a test of free will, a core element of human nature. In the early days of Eden, this test seemed like a distant reminder. Adam and Eve enjoyed the beauty and joy of the garden, marveling at the wonders the Creator had prepared for them. Yet the shadow of the test lingered, standing quietly as a question waiting for an answer. Beneath the perfect scene, a darkness was silently lurking. A cunning creature, one that did not belong to this paradise, was about to appear. It carried not only deception, but also the seed of the greatest tragedy in human history. One seemingly ordinary day in the Garden of Eden, the cool air and gentle light still filled the space, yet something unusual crept into the perfect picture. Amid the rustling leaves and the babbling stream, a creature emerged. The serpent. Unlike any other creature in the garden, it moved with a sleek grace, gliding as though hovering over the ground. Its eyes reflected not just light, but a shadowy cunning, a dark intelligence filled with scheming. The serpent approached Eve with an enchanting demeanor, its voice soft as a whisper in the breeze. It appeared unthreatening. Instead, its gentle manner and mysterious aura disarmed Eve's guard. "Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden?" the serpent asked, its tone casual yet deliberate. Eve, initially startled by the unexpected question, responded with certainty. "We may eat fruit from the trees in the garden, but not from the tree in the middle of the garden. God said we must not eat or touch it, or we will die." The serpent, as though prepared for this reply, let out a quiet laugh and said, "You will not surely die. God knows that when you eat it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like Him, knowing good and evil." The serpent's words were like arrows aimed at Eve's curiosity and desire for understanding. She turned her gaze toward the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, where the forbidden fruit gleamed in the sunlight. Unlike any other fruit in the garden, it sparkled as if coated in golden light, emitting a faint fragrance that seemed to beckon her, its perfect beauty stirring something deep within. In that moment, Eve stood in the grip of inner conflict. On one side was the Creator's stern warning, reminding her that eating the fruit would lead to death. On the other was the serpent's tempting promise, suggesting she would gain wisdom, know good and evil, and become like the Creator himself. The struggle was intense, but temptation ultimately prevailed. Eve reached out, her trembling fingers brushing against the forbidden fruit. As she plucked it, a strange sensation coursed through her, part exhilaration, part fear. She took a bite, tasting its sweetness, though it carried an indescribable strangeness. But the tragedy did not stop there. Eve offered the fruit to Adam, who had been nearby and witnessed the entire event. She recounted the serpent's words, her eyes filled with expectation. Adam, who deeply loved Eve, did not resist. He looked into her eyes, then at the forbidden fruit, and finally, he too took a bite. You've just joined Historical Owl in uncovering one of humanity's greatest mysteries, the story of the first lie and its unimaginable consequences. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Have you ever wondered how many similar stories lie hidden within the currents of history? Mysterious creatures, unbelievable events, and secrets yet to be revealed? Embark on an endless journey of discovery with us. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, so whenever we unveil a new hidden chapter of history, you'll be the first to know. And if you're eager to dive deeper into unique creatures or fascinating secrets, click on the related videos right here. Historical Owl, where the past comes alive, and your curiosity is always welcome. Keep the passion for discovery alive. See you in our next adventure.